This episode of Bolden Consulting Presents Village Conversations is brought to you with the support of the Village Fund, the LA Partnership for Early Childhood Investment, and the Conrad N. Hilton Foundation. I'm Amber Bolden, and this is Bolden Consulting Presents Village Conversations. I am joined by my co-host, Rakayla Simpson.
AKA Rack City.
Hey. And today we are going to continue our discussion in our series about Black maternal health and the organizations, the community-based organizations that support this effort. The Village Fund, this work is done in partnership with the African American Infant and Maternal Mortality Initiative. And we are joined today by some exciting and very worthy, very just accomplished community leaders. We're so excited to have you in the building. And we start every episode by giving flowers. And I say like giving flowers, but it's really just stating facts. So,
laying out the red carpet for the folks.
That's just us reading your bio. So just to get us started, we have Nneoma Ogudoro.
Yes.
Perfect. All right. So Nneoma is the owner and operator of Wazobia Dance, which was founded in 2016. Nneoma began Wazobia Dance to contribute to the prevention and reduction of chronic illness like obesity and heart disease. Wazobia Dance is a healing art offering designed to service LA County. She encourages participants to embrace their divine attributes with confidence, as well as establish a community setting where individuals and families feel they belong and where support can be received. See that? Nneoma is a graduate of Charles Drew University. We have HBCUs in the building, and I'm so excited, where she received her master's in public health. She is based in Carson, California, where she lives with her family. She is currently pursuing her second master's degree, this time in nursing.
Yes.
She is a leader, a change maker, and a part of the Village Fund family. Welcome, Nneoma.
Thank you.
So excited to have you.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And we also have the esteemed Joanne Russell, aka Miss Joanne, as she's known to our Village family, because we love and respect our elders. She's the founding director of Let's Make It Happen, a community-based nonprofit designed to support people who are most vulnerable to access resources and begin to move towards positive change. Miss Joanne works with a wide range of populations, from community members who are seeking reentry back into society following incarceration, individuals seeking mental health support, birthing people, and more. Miss Joanne seeks to be an entry point for every member of the community using a holistic lens towards wellness. She's graduated from the University of Phoenix. She's a beloved community member, an advocate for positive change, and again, a member of our wonderful Village family. And so we want to just welcome you into this space, Miss Joanne. It's so great to have you here this afternoon.
Oh, shit.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
And so we wanted to just get it started because I'm a context setter, you all.
Okay.
So just to set the context for our show this evening, or who do you think you are, right? And so in the Black community, I'm sure that you all have heard that it's typically kind of heard as a confrontation or maybe even an accusatory kind of statement. It's usually accompanied with a tone and maybe even a face like, who do you think you are, right?
You know, you get that tone from your own.
Man, you know, right?
Who you talking to?
And it typically implies that maybe someone has overstepped their boundaries, or they might even just be acting a little bit arrogantly, right? However, for our podcast this afternoon, we want to reframe and reclaim the phrase, who do you think you are? And really to reflect on your self-worth and the identity in a positive manner. So with that said, how do you all build a good, healthy sense of entitlement? And what does that look like for you all? So I'll throw it to you first, Miss Joanne, and then we'll throw it to you. Is that okay?
Yes, that's fine.
You know, entitlement, we talk about that, we hear that word, and entitlement technically means something that someone else bestowed on you, but giving it more thought, I realized it's something you can earn within yourself also.
Mm.
Because like you said, who do you think you are? Like, I'm called Miss Joanne. I'm called myself Miss Joanne for a reason. Because yeah, I get to be an elder finally. And I know what I've been through, and I can stand in my own confidence. See, that's what helps people. When you've done the work, you build a confidence that helps you establish your identity, and your identity does come from within. You know, that's like, it's a Langston Hughes, his poem about freedom. He says that you have a dream in your heart, and then your mind takes over to make a way. You know, so that's what we're doing, and that's how we find out who we really are.
Ashe.
I love it.
I love that too. I want to actually comment on what you just said and take piggyback off of what you said as well in terms of confidence, having that internal confidence and doing the work within yourself, because that's ideally where confidence grow. When you can ideally specify something that you can change for the betterment of your overall good, and you actually put time and effort and nurture that particular thing, and you see the growth within yourself by just being committed and being consistent with it, you grow in your confidence. So that's just to say, like, for me, who do I think I am? I think I'm courageous. You know, I think I would dare to do what people may clarify as the not to do, you know? And I think with that, just that influence of belief, like thinking that you can do it and why not do it. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. I'm courageous. That's who I think I am.
Yes. Ashe. Come on.
Nneoma, we had an opportunity to talk, I think, a bit, and I was just fell in love with your story. Like, every time I see you, I'm like, so, but I'm again excited that you're here, and I just want to like back up a little bit and talk about Wazobia dance. Kind of where did your journey start with Wazobia dance? Like, how did it start? How's it going? What got you going, and what made you say I'm doing this?
So my journey with Wazobia dance, it's been a long journey, but a grateful journey that I can attest to. I started through our conversation prior to back in originally 2012 through another name, which was African aerobics. Then the reason why I started that was because of my own personal self-image. Then I was overweight. My family had a lineage of diabetics, and I just wanted to make sure personally I wasn't also categorized as being one of those, you know, and just seeing all the things that they had to go through with just medication. And I never been the type to want to take medications. And even to this day, I still don't want to, like, I'd rather have a headache and drink a whole lot of water. You know what I mean? Before it like surpass itself. But that's the type of person I've always been. So with that being said, I was like, I need to do something about me being overweight, because this is serious, and I don't want it to, you know, go into some other complications that at that point I can't control. You know, once you're a diabetic, you diagnosed as a diabetic, there's no going back on it. So I just wanted to make sure I was proactive. At that time, I didn't like going to the gym. I didn't like sweating, to be honest.
She's like saying for the girls right here.
The way my edges are laid.
You know, it was a lot in me. I'm like, But, you know, I can say now I love it because I know the benefit to it. But then I didn't like it, to be honest, if I'm being honest. So I prayed about it. I thought about it, and I just didn't know what to do, because I was trying to do everything to avoid going to the gym. It was one particular day, early hours, and it was a spirit, a vision, a dream that came upon me and told me to move my body, dance. You know, that's still a form of exercising. But in that way, I'm like, dance. I'm like, I don't dance. I never had a background of dancing. I never grew up like this dancing child. You know, I never like, people never saw me as like, even when I told my family, it was like, surprise. Like, you know what I mean?
Nneoma,
are you sure? You know? So I was like questioning what I was hearing. I'm like, dance. But it kept on resonating within me, like, you need to move, you need to dance. And the fact that we traveled to Nigeria every single year, and I loved Afro beats, and I knew, like, when I heard it, when we went to the joints in Nigeria, I just danced, like, because the music just made me want to dance. So I was like, okay, so if I do this, it's gonna be only to this particular genre of music. So then at that time I had a really close friend. I didn't know how well of a dancer she was, but the Spirit again told me to ask this particular person to help transform me into a dancer. So we went through a series of trainings for like, she was immediately like, yeah, like excited to do it because she was so passionate about dancing. So we went through a series of trainings for like a course of months, for like 3 to 4 days out the week for hours at a time. And through that time, she taught me how to be very confident in my movement and my body, because I was very stiff and I was like very unconfident and very like, I don't know if I should be touching myself like this, but she taught me like, this is your body, girl. You better get comfortable with your body.
Love it.
You better love it for all you have of it,
Because who, if not you, who?
Exactly.
Right.
Literally, if not you, then who? So with that, we went through the segment of, training myself. And then we particularly had this one day. Okay, well, she felt that I was ready. We're going to start our class this day. And I was like, class? I was very shy. I'm like, class? Like, yeah, I wanted to do this, but I wanted to do it for myself, initially. Right. And again, that's how like the Spirit like put people designedly in places at particular times, because for whatever reason, God saw in me what I couldn't see in myself at that time. So he had to push me in my journey, and he knew it would probably be like a little challenge because, I can say I'm a little bit of stubborn, but with that being said, I'm not the person to say no, flat out. Like, no, I'm not going to do it. Even with the challenges of the things that I may see as obstacles, I still find myself going through those paths. Like, I embrace all of those things, So we did the first class. And at the first class, it's about like 7 to 11 people that showed up. It was a great success, even though at that particular time, I can't say I was fully like just owning that space of comfortability, but I still showed up and I still performed. And to fast forward, Wazobia has been all throughout Los Angeles County. It has been my platform to help me grow in my comfortability as a woman, as a human, as a creator, and being confident in what I have. And now currently, because I'm in school, Wazobia dance is still going, but not as much as I would like it to go, because of, the school that I'm in is very demanding. So it's going, but not as much as I would like to go. So.
But I just want to celebrate you. I just have to say, because I don't know if you can see it from the chair, but when you enter a room, I just feel like it's like Oshun came in. You know what I mean? Like Nneoma, you are tall. You have like, I can see like the movement. I can see that in you. I feel like I can see it. But I know we talked about this all the time. Like at a certain height, people don't always see that for women. It's like
you gotta own it.
Yeah, you have to own it. And
you have to be real comfortable.
And you do.
As soon as she walked in and she said hello, I was like, "Oh, you're a goddess."
Yes.
Okay, well, let me introduce myself. Okay, you didn't tell me that.
But now you know. But now you know.
And I think a similar question to you, Miss Joanne. So talk to us about Let's Make It Happen and kind of what motivated you to start that and get you in this journey. What was your journey like?
I'm a goddess in short form.
Yeah, hello. No, hello. Yes. Me and my 5'3". I got it.
4'11".
Yes. I love it.
Let's make it happen. I was reflecting, and I've been in human services for all my life. When I was a little kid, even in Jersey, I was the peacemaker. I was the one that always tried to solve the problems with our friends, whether we were building go-karts or playing tops or somebody had a dispute. And then and at 13, I told my uncle that raised us, I'm like, Big Daddy, I want to do something to help my people. And he looked at me and says, baby, if they'll shoot the president and they'll shoot Martin Luther King, what do you think they'll do to you? I thanked him for a word of wisdom. It took a lot for him because that happened over space. And Big Daddy was a veteran of World War I. And I think that's one of the wisest things that he said to me. And he never said, no, don't go find something else to do. I guess he could feel that this was really in my heart at 13. And I've worked in a lot of different places. You mentioned Drew. I was the program coordinator for the National Black Leadership Initiative for Cancer for the Western region for 6 years.
Oh, wow.
And so when you say let's make it happen, that's almost the model that Let's Make It Happen is built on. It's research-based because we look at what has happened with African Americans over a series of time for the different especially pain points we had, like during the riots. What were the conditions that existed? And what did they put in place to kind of like, either were they Band-Aids or what did they give solutions? So we know what worked and what didn't work. So we can create new things now that are innovative, that are effective. And so that's why I said, let's make it happen. We use data to inform the community of the status. And then we're different because then we help them build it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't do programs and lay programs on top of them.
Mm-hmm.
We engage the people. Like they say, you teach a man to fish and he'll be able to feed himself.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we build that self-sufficiency, that confidence, and that self-esteem that we need, you know, to be able to move forward. So, and we work with people. We work with regular citizens, but the key is we go into the community. I'm not asking people to come to a building and uproot yourself.
Yes.
We need to change in the community.
Mm-hmm.
I do not try to reinvent the wheel, and I respect all of our service organizations. So I invite them to come along, and what I try to do is maximize what they do by helping to stretch their efforts to replicate it in the community. Let's make it happen. Technically, I'm an administrator. I love administration.
I appreciate that.
She learned to dance. I love administration. So in our job training and creation, people will learn all things administration. And today, I wanted to be in agriculture. But Big Mama couldn't see nothing but girls being gardeners. So she made me go type. But then came computers.
Right on time.
So now administration, that's your technology. You know, and everything that we do from AI to databases to CRMs, you know, that's what we have to do now. So I'm looking forward to translating a lot of the skills that I have, because like I said, I'm an elder. And I looked up one day and I had finally had freedom. You know, at 60, my kids were gone. I had actually stepped back and that's when I finished my bachelor's at University of Phoenix, because I'm like, there must be a name for all this stuff that I do. But then I got waylaid after setting everything up to be a foster parent for 5 years. And you had to make the choice. You're going to raise an organization or a kid. Well, the kid went out. You know, he was a cool kid.
I appreciate that. True.
You know, so now that I've gotten older, and I'm like, because I looked up, I'm like, why am I working in this place? It was for the kid. So now I'm back. And we talk about journeys, the self-reflection and the confidence. I'll share with you guys. We went out on COVID to be home, and that was 2020. 2021, I was diagnosed with cancer. But like you said, something comes to you like in a dream or something. I was in my room and they had just did the test, and this voice says, "You shall live and not die." I looked around because nobody lives in my house but me. And it was so audible. And I'm like, okay, Lord, I accept that. And that was at 1:00 that day, my phone rang to tell me I had cancer. Cancer's gone, but the side effects of chemo, I'll be coming to visit you. The side effects of chemo is nothing nice, and we can work on that, you know. And as my journey unfolds to me, I can see what a lot of different needs. People keep saying, do one thing, one thing, one thing. I love Dr. Murray. I wrote Let's Make It Happen as a fellow in the USC Cecil Murray faith leadership program. And Dr. Murray told me, he says, well, what do you do is called Gestalt. You got to fight a lot of little battles in order to win the war. So, you know, no matter how many times, that's all I needed to hear, you know, especially from him. And it's coming together, and I get to work with other people, because it's called Let's Make It Happen, because that means let us.
Right.
You know, not Joanne, not you, but us. We do it as a collective thing, because somewhere we keep talking about that word village. Yeah. So we're really doing village repair nowadays.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Miss Joanne. I love, and thank you for sharing that, because I know I've had conversations with you, but I was just like, you're such a fighter. I feel like you can't understate someone going back to school at 60. I think that is, beautiful. You know, a champion there. And then like in so many ways, you're a champion. And so But what I hear and when you talk and Nneoma, when you spoke, was this inner voice, you know? And so like, as we're talking about kind of the sense of self-entitlement, I feel like you heard an inner voice, you know, and a lot of times our elders from previous generations can give us advice based on their experience. And you are responsible for a new experience. And I feel like you have done that, you know, but how do you, and this is to both of you, but how do you hear that inner voice? Like, what does it feel like? How do you know you're like, I'm not going crazy? You know what I mean? Like, because sometimes it can seem so disjointed, you know? It can be
how does it show through your work too?
How does it show up for you? Like, what does it's like different than talking sometimes, but like, how does that show up? How does that feel for you?
It's interesting. Let's Make It Happen focuses on because to be measurable, we took like standard measurements, like from Simpson's 8 Dimensions of Wellness, the social determinants of health, so that we can be credible in our research and we can publish, and you know we become data driven. Because I believe when we were talking the other day, we were saying that how data does not really include African Americans, you know, and then the things that they are talking about. But what it has done for me is that in this 8 Dimensions of Wellness, along with finances, you also have spirituality. You know, people don't recognize that. And I was reading a book and they said that they took psyche out of psychology because psyche means soul. People don't know what to do. Yeah, people don't know what to do with it. You know, but that's what you do. And I'm sure you'll agree. Once we find a place of peace, you know, within ourselves, because the world just swirls. Life be life.
Man.
Yeah.
But how do you say grounded? And that's when it really does come to you. You know, you have this inner peace. I wouldn't trade my joy and my peace for anything.
Right.
You know, because if those go, then I don't hear, then I don't feel, then I don't sense, and I have no direction.
Right.
So it is really a thing of everybody has a soul.
Amen.
Yeah. And we just have to not be afraid of it and, you know, and turn it over to the positive powers, whatever you believe. Because that there is something greater than ourselves, and anybody who actually recognizes that there is good and evil, you can't argue with it.
Right.
You know, we've seen both sides, especially the more we grow.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, Miss Joanne, you got me piggybacking on all your Yes, I totally, again, agree with you. It is a sense of being at peace within yourself. For me, my journey has allowed me to really identify the inner voice as I grew more attentive into my word. Like once I understood the power of the word, which I'm speaking of the Bible, I grew to be at this place of peace and calmness and stillness, where oftentimes where I enjoy being by myself just so I can understand my next steps, you know, because like you said, the world have so much going around and so much things happening around us where it's most times out of our control to control. So for me, I like to take my steps back and be by myself where I enjoy my peace of mind and I allow the spirit within me to speak to me, you know, where it's kind of guiding my directions and my steps and how I should move and even how I should make decisions too, you know, and I feel like that has done me well so far. Like just, you know, being at peace, being by myself at times, you know, to listen. Yeah. And even in presence of individuals, you can still hear like confirmations through people and conversations, you know? So, yeah.
I feel like you and I talked about that, like stillness, like if you can get quiet, like create conscious space to be still and to be quiet, especially like if you can create like a routine or pattern. We actually talked about that in another discussion, but it really helps to hear more clearly.
Absolutely.
You know? So
I think also to that point though, in addition to stillness, you have to be open to receiving.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
absolutely.
I feel like there are times where I'm listening to a song and I'm like, it's no reason it should hit this hard.
Like,
it's no reason it should hit this hard because it's touching me right here. Right. And it's like it feels like it's giving you it to you in divine timing, right? Yeah. And so not only being still, but the second part of that is open to receiving it at the same time, right?
I agree.
Knowing that you need to hear something or knowing that you need a sign the universe, the creator, however you identify,
Right.
they will give it to you as soon as you ask
Yeah.
for it, right? You have to be open to knowing that you
I
need
agree.
it, though. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, surrender is a powerful word that we take as a curse, that we think is punishment. But, you know, and you said the Bible, the Psalms 23, and he leads me beside the still waters. That means he calms us down and he restores our soul. You know, that place where we have all our creativity as well as all our problems and our angst.
Yeah.
I think that's so, yeah. And I'm, you know, personally, I think people have to get a new view on what faith is because we've muddied the water so much. But then some of the promises that's in that book, and then, you know, I look at, since I work with African Americans across the board, I look at a lot of faiths, and even in our mott, you know, we still have that spiritual connection because that's just who we are.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Come on, Ma. Oh, shoot.
I was going to say we had, I think, Nneoma, you and I, we had the opportunity to talk. And one of the things that we talked about was like sequence and steps. And sometimes when as you're growing, you feel like there's like a sequence, especially like for us, like in school, you take this step, you do this thing. And sometimes like you get to life and it may feel like things are out of order, but you were saying like that step begets the next step. So even like when you are entering into a new space, how do you know that you belong? Or like, how do you go through being in that space, perhaps without knowing that you're quite sure you belong?
You know what? I honestly accept the fact that I may not belong. And I just show up even without me feeling belonged. All I can do is show up as my authentic self and provide what I have. As long as it's not harming me or putting me in jeopardy, then I'm going to continue to show up. Even if the feelings of me feeling unbelonged, I feel. You know, if I feel like within those uncomfortable moments, it's where I tend to grow more at because I'm putting myself in a position where I am uncomfortable. And oftentimes, I think most people, because discomfort, they shy away from. But again, if it's not like jeopardizing my state of well-being, my overall presence of well-being, then I'm going to most times put myself there. And in terms of sequence of steps, I never know the answers to like what's going to be next. I just, you know, I just try my best. I just show up. Again, I go in that quietness place where I feel like it oftentimes just come how it comes.
Yeah.
Without me knowing, you know, anything prior to it, you know. And I just continuously like just do what I need to do. But yeah, that's it. I just continuously show up, to be honest.
I remember you said like God gives us these gifts, but we have a choice to nurture it.
Yes, you know? Absolutely. I totally agree, because if I didn't say yes to Wazobia dance, I wouldn't be having a conversation about Wazobia dance. You know, so if I didn't say yes to what he told me to do, then I wouldn't have the opportunity to allow myself to grow within it. But in the process of me growing within it, I'm nurturing it as well. You know, so it was like, it was something that, it was a tool that he gave me for me to grow and learn and like just nurture. As before I had kids, that was my baby, you know, and it was a baby for me to share with other individuals that they can utilize for their own personal beings, you know. So I think if I didn't say yes, I wouldn't have the opportunity to like know what it takes to nurture, you know, something so precious as a tool that people use. You know?
That's beautiful. And I have to say, anywhere that you are called to be in, you belong. You know? But the world does have a way of making us feel like,
absolutely,
you know, I don't have this credential, or, you know, I don't have this look, or, you know, I don't speak this way. And so sometimes it makes us feel like we don't belong. But I like what you said, just show up anyway, you know, and you affirm that with your presence.
You know why I said that, Amber? You know, oftentimes, like, people don't know how they make people feel unconsciously. They just have this real rude attitude without being like mindful of how people may be in that space. And I witnessed that. But in those things, I still show up as me, because that's not making me change who I am. And I recognize that people need to probably experience love and kindness so they can see a flip side to their behavior that they're transpiring on everybody else. You know what I mean? So yes, we supposed to be there. It's meant for us to be there. But I recognize that people are people, And people come with so many different personalities.
Yes.
You know?
We're working to get to our authentic self.
Yeah.
And I was going to say that's a, to that point of feeling unbelonging, I think that's an invitation to make sure we don't replicate that for the next person, right? If I felt that, I need to make sure I do everything in my power not to make sure that someone else feels that, right? So if I get into a space where I feel like I did not belong, it is now my mission, right, to make sure that I kick the door open, right? First and foremost, so that people feel invited and welcome to be and know that they belong and they feel love and they feel value in there. So I can appreciate that. And I think that is a great definition of a positive sense of entitlement, right?
Absolutely.
I think that kind of transitions to over here, Miss Joanne. So in the spirit of self-entitlement, how do you build that in community, right? What does that look like for us to empower our community? How do you build a positive sense of self-entitlement? And how do you empower them and motivate them?
It is actually, and it's really simple. That's why I started doing good mental health. Because we carry so much baggage that we're not free. After a while, we're not free to be ourselves. And sometimes we lose ourselves. So like our first thing is to get back to ourselves. Get back to ourselves. Get to know who you are. And because we do pick up bits and pieces as we go along and stick it on here, stick it on here, stick it on here, put it here. Right. And we lose a lot of self-identity because the words that were coming to me when we asked about how do we feel in a place is courage and confidence. Courage means you're going to do it afraid, and confidence, you've done the work. So you know where you've taken yourself, you know where you came from. And in some cases, you've been in that situation before, and it's a test of ourselves to see, do I handle it better? Can I still stand? What do I have to learn? What else do I need to learn to be able to thrive in some kind of desert surroundings? But that's what we have to do. We have to first off give ourselves permission to seek freedom. I love the word freedom. The permission to seek freedom. We have been bound by so many things like, we're Americans in America. But we happen to be Black, and they have gone out of their ways to systematically. I mean, the more I learn about it, it's really amazing how much these people have put into putting down one race. I'm sorry. I do think we are the chosen people because nobody goes through this, and I do believe that this is the time for us to be able to focus and raise ourselves up, because just like the children of Israel, they were there for 700 years. We've been here 4, going on 5, so we can do this. We can do this, but give yourself permission to want to be free. And that's the start. Then you're like the poem was saying, then your mind takes over to create the pathway. That's why I said we create pathways to wellness from people making up their own mind. But you got to free your mind of we've got so much stuff. And that's why we have to do it together, because it's amazing how many people have like challenges. And we're building the village, because then we start talking, just like we did our families, because you asked, like when you said that God said to do that, your dance program. When I told God I was ready for Let's Make It Happen. He's like, you sure? I'm like, yes. He showed me my family. Oh God, he showed me my family. And in the last 3 years, we have grown in leaps and bounds because, like you say, you follow his lead. You don't know where it's leading. The trainings that I've taken, I don't talk to my kids because my kids are grown. My oldest daughter will be 50 this year, and we had to work stuff out. I've got people that's incarcerated, people with mental health, but how do you build family? So it's taking the same model into the people, but letting them do it themselves, because if you try to do that group thing again, they'll just still be picking up stuff from other people. So how do we be free? And that's why Let's Make It Happen lets them put their hands to the work, so they can find out what their skills are, so that they can learn what they really are good at. Because that's one of the things I applaud African Americans, because we're really great. But what we're seeing is the lack of opportunities. It's not that they gave us stuff and we failed, but they withheld stuff. And then the stuff that they gave us was really quite negative.
And in spite of that.
Yes.
Right,
yes.
exactly.
In spite of that, we done built enterprises, although they kill people with some of the enterprises, but then the spirit is there. So if we can get the junk out and get ourselves refocused.
And even a narrative of accomplishment rather than being like, oh, it's always the negative. It's like, look at what you've accomplished. Look at what you've been through, rather than just always talking about, oh, this is, I feel that way often, like our narratives get talked about in the victimization sense, but you're not talking about who came out on the other side of that.
Right. And that's why one of my key projects is Dignity Restored. We don't know enough about ourselves. And when we learn about the phenomenal people that we have that shares the same skin color, people will be saying, hey, maybe I can do that. I didn't know we could do that. They're giving that's that permission to be free again. Like one of the Ghanese American scientist who recently passed, and he was very instrumental in designing the works of the internet. He says he learned a long time ago that in schools they really teach Black children and people the theory, but they never teach you how to. And he said because he was a mathematician and he did. He was great. I'll find his name. Okay. I owe it to find his name. But he says, but when he figured out that, hey, something's missing, and it was the to-do piece, he said he took off like a rocket. And so I believe he even won a Nobel Prize for it. I just happened to see the story about a month ago. But so that's the things that we can do. Like the little boy that just came up with the lotion. It's 15 years old. I mean, but we're not exposed to those possibilities. So if you feel there's positive possibilities, there's no stopping.
Right.
And I appreciate that freedom because, in the spirit of poems, it reminds me of my favorite poem, right, where there's a line in there that says, as we liberate ourselves, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same, right? And so as we walk in our own greatness, right? So regardless of what the world is throwing at us, we know that we're destined to be there or how we're going to show up regardless. It gives people unconsciously the same permission to do that, right? So they show up as themselves. And if we both are showing up as our best selves, what can we do not only as an individual, what can we do together, right?
Exactly.
And so I appreciate that empowerment.
Let me share you this, because when I thinking of the conversation, I did find a couple of quotes. And this quote is from Mary McLeod Bethune. She says, invest in the human soul. Who knows, it might be a diamond in the rough.
Yeah. You never know who you're going to touch by your actions.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Or what's inside of us. Like it says, we have these treasures in earthen vessels.
Right. Absolutely.
So we've been asking everyone, same question. Two questions. First, what is a village? We'll start there. Like when you think, because we have the Village Fund, we have the work we do. When you think like, what is a village for you? What is a village? Nneoma?
A village for me would be like a support group, a group of people, any kind of people that, really help an individual grow in that environment. Support them in all avenues of life, whether it's their shortcomings, their strengths, whatever it is, just to help them build into that individual that the world needs. I believe that's what a village is. This is more so like a child. You have a village. They say you have a village to help you raise a child. So it's just that group of individuals to help you nurture and support this child so they can grow as their very best self.
The environment.
Their environment, absolutely.
That's that collective care I'm talking about.
Miss Joanne, what would you say? What is a village?
I was teaching my granddaughter, who's part of my village, and she's 16, beautiful young lady named Peyton. I was teaching Peyton about the plates that they put in their lips to expand it, because we were talking about something. We were talking about the dance that there's a name for it, the little twerking dance. And because we love that. We love that dance. And Jan, as a matter of fact, sent a video Jan Robinson Flint showed a video saying the properties and the health benefits from that. But then we were doing that, and it was describing the people in this particular village as egalitarian. And that's what we as naturally as African people are. That means we're compassionate, we're caring, we're helping, we're open, we're loving, we're nurturing. To people, we just give to the next person what we have to give to help them along their way to all grow. It's a village, it's a support. It's a support in love, where nobody, whether you're having a good day or a bad day, somebody's always they'll either lift you up to celebrate you for something great, or either they'll step in and help you when you're having a difficulty. It's just almost like the Bible says, an unconditional love. It's an unconditional love where we feed into each other because we don't have that hang up of, I can't help you because you might get better than me. I can't help you because I'm above you. We have a level playing field, which is leveled in love and care. Yeah. And that's village to me.
I love these answers. Thank you. Second question is, so, the Village Fund is created to support Black maternal health and start to really, and just in recognition that the community-based organizations that are doing this work are equipped and able and to support those organizations. So you have Wazobia Dance. What is your legacy or your offering to the Black maternal health work that's being done?
Well, through Wazobia Dance, it is, again, a tool where Black women particularly can come and utilize for self-courage, self-love, self-recognition, self-esteem, growth. So these things are put in place purposely so individuals can come and really understand who they are in that moment, in that place, in that space, where it's no judgment. We're there to just support, to lay the foundation, but ultimately the goal is to do as you will. Whatever your body is telling you to do, you do it, but you embrace it with confidence and comfort and understand this is you. This is who you are. So we come with Wazobia Dance to make sure we hold that space available for individuals to come and sit and feel supported while they embrace their love within themselves.
And I love, we were also talking, I remember you were just articulating when your body is changing when you're pregnant. You have Wazobia baby mama, right? So there's a specific, I love it. I know, but you have a specific program that also is designed, for women in their changing bodies and, what needs to happen. So so during my first pregnancy, I didn't realize how much my body would have changed. Of course, granted, I was just, enjoying the pregnancy with, eating all the things I was eating.
Yeah, hello.
Right? So I didn't realize my body would have changed significantly. So I did go through this phase of postpartum depression and more so trying to regain my identity as an individual. And now this new role that I had bestowed upon me. So when I had my second child, that's when I was I used the opportunity from my first experience to create Wazobia Dance Baby Mama, because I wanted to still be, active during my pregnancy, which I didn't do as much in my first pregnancy. So I wanted to create movements that was fairly friendly to my body type now that it was while I was pregnant. And even after pregnancy, I still continue to do those same movements because it wasn't so, I would say intense as just Wazobia Dance. Wazobia Dance Baby Mama is a little more slowed down, where we can really fully engage in the movements and still have fun with the movements and not feel overwhelmed and tired, because we do have another being grown within us. And even after the being is delivered out of us, we are still trying to regain our strength, because that's a big load that we hold within ourselves. It's a journey, definitely, So it was created through
an odyssey sometimes.
Listen. It was necessary. So I created Wazobia Dance Baby Mama through my pregnancy experience.
I love it.
We're gonna have to connect.
Miss Joanne, same question. What is the offering of Let's Make It Happen for Black maternal health?
Yeah, I have to comment on her. She does emotional support. You don't think of it like that. You think it's physical, but that's emotional support. What I have to offer is another level of good mental health, because like we said, all the changes you go through, and our role in the Village Fund is to actually help reduce stress amongst mothers. But we do it in conversation, and we do it with resources, because to help promote healthy births. Because if a young mom is going through domestic violence and no one knows, if a young mom or a pregnant mother, but you've got 4 other children that are off the chart and you need parenting skills, if you got a pregnant mom and she can't pay her bills, you got a pregnant mom and this, and that's why it's called good mental health in life. We pair it with a life issue, because right now I'm trying to do good mental health in COVID, except I can't find the people to talk like I want them to. Well, yeah, health professionals, they're so busy. But that's what we bring, because like, unless you are in a peaceful place, pregnancy can be rough. You don't know what's going to happen from day to day. My story with my first pregnancy, I was in labor for 26 hours. Whoa. Yes, I was in labor for 26 hours. So if we're walking with a pregnant mom, and we do mothers and we do fathers, we do a series of people to help prepare your mind for what you're doing. But that's, again, grounding them into you. That's, again, finding the resources you need to lift the stress, so that life is not such a heavy lift, to be able to prepare a place so that you're walking into this birthing in peace with and being able to navigate, and you're not freaking out. Some of us just freak out because we don't know what to do. But to be that, like, a friend to come along with, and then you're building a circle of sister friends also, which is important to building the village. That's what we do.
Thank you so much, Miss Joanne. Nneoma, thank you so much. Absolutely. I'm so excited to just learn about the beautiful offerings that both of you have given. The Village family appreciates you, and we're just very privileged to have you. So thank you, and we will stay tuned to see what is next. Thank you, and with that, I think that's it for us for today.
Yes, thank you, ladies. Thank you as well.
This is outstanding. Shoot.
Stay connected as we continue our conversations with the Village Fund grantees supporting Black maternal health in LA, and the Changemakers supporting strong community-based organizations. Episodes for this 5-part series will be released weekly. You won't want to miss these discussions. Stay tuned.